The quantum detection grid lit up like a Christmas tree across every monitoring station on Earth. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the readings in disbelief. The signal patterns were unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. As director of the Global Defense Initiative's Advanced Technology Division, she had seen her share of astronomical anomalies. But this was different. This was deliberate. Multiple objects emerging from faster-than-light travel. Her AI assistant Araya reported, its holographic display showing dozens of massive ships materializing just beyond Mars' orbit. Configuration suggests artificial construction. Estimated mass of largest vessel, 12.4 kilometers in length. Sarah's hands flew across the haptic interface, initiating emergency protocols even as her mind raced through the implications. Humanity had prepared for this moment for decades, but the reality of first contact was still overwhelming. The ships were massive beyond comprehension. Capital ships that made Earth's largest vessels look like toys in comparison. "Get me the Security Council," she ordered, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "And wake up the Lazarus Project teams." Before she could say more, every screen and device on Earth flickered simultaneously. The alien transmission began without warning or preparation, broadcasting in perfect English, a sign they had been studying humanity for far longer than anyone had suspected. "People of Earth," the voice resonated with an unnatural harmonic quality that sent chills down Sarah's spine. "I am High Commander Vrax of the Drachnid Empire. Your world has drawn our attention through your recent advances in quantum manipulation technology. You have 24 hours to surrender all research and development related to quantum computing and engineering. Failure to comply will result in immediate military action." Sarah's blood ran cold. The Lazarus Project, her life's work on quantum consciousness transfer, was still in its early stages, but its potential implications for immortality and consciousness preservation were staggering. Of course, an advanced empire would recognize its value. As global panic erupted, Sarah initiated a secure connection to the other members of the Quantum Research Consortium. They had prepared for this possibility, however remote it had seemed. Deep beneath the surface of every major continent, hidden facilities had been constructed. Equipment had been stockpiled. Plans had been made. "They're not here to conquer us," Sarah announced to the Emergency Security Council meeting. "They're here because they're afraid of what we might become." The Drachnid ultimatum continued broadcasting on repeat, but Sarah barely heard it anymore. Her mind was already racing through the contingencies, the hidden advantages, the possibilities that even the Drachnids, for all their advanced technology, might have overlooked. "We've got 24 hours, she told the assembled world leaders. "And we're going to use every second of it. The Drachnids think they're dealing with a primitive species that they can intimidate into submission. They're about to learn otherwise." In secure facilities across the globe, quantum cores hummed to life. The Lazarus Project had never been just about immortality. It had been about pushing the boundaries of what consciousness itself could achieve. And now, facing an alien empire that sought to crush humanity's potential before it could be fully realized, those boundaries were about to be tested in ways no one had ever imagined. The clock was ticking. Humanity had one day to prepare for a war unlike any in its history. But Sarah Chen smiled grimly as she initiated the quantum defense protocols. The Drachnids had made a crucial mistake in their calculations. They had given humanity time to think. And humanity, when backed into a corner, had always been at its most dangerous when it had time to think. The underground facility beneath the Atacama Desert thrummed with activity as Dr. Sarah Chen strode through its winding corridors. 19 hours remained until the Drachnid deadline, and every second counted. The massive quantum computing core pulsed with an ethereal blue light, its crystalline structure stretching 3 stories high into the cavern ceiling. "Status report on global integration," she called out to her team as she entered the central command hub. The room's holographic displays showed similar facilities across the planet, all working in perfect synchronization for the first time in human history. Dr. Marcus Wong, Her longtime colleague and head of quantum networking looked up from his station. Neural linkages are at 87% capacity across all sites. The Russian and Chinese cores came online 10 minutes ago. We're seeing unprecedented stability in the quantum field. It was a miracle of cooperation that would have seemed impossible just days ago. The Drachnid threat had accomplished what decades of diplomacy couldn't. True global unification. Every major nation had activated their hidden quantum research facilities, connecting them into a single, powerful network that the aliens couldn't detect. They still think we're just working on basic quantum computing, Sarah mused, studying the real-time feeds of the Drachnid fleet. Their massive ships hadn't moved from their positions near Mars, confident in their show of force. They have no idea what the Lazarus Project really is. The project had started as an attempt to transfer human consciousness into quantum states, a path to theoretical immortality. But Sarah and her team had discovered something far more significant. Consciousness itself was quantum in nature, and properly harnessed, it could be expanded beyond its normal limitations. Neural sync testing is ready, announced Dr. Amara Okafor, the team's lead neuroscientist. First wave of volunteers is prepped. Sarah nodded grimly. They were about to attempt something unprecedented, linking human minds directly into the quantum network. The volunteers were all military pilots, chosen for their exceptional mental discipline and combat training. If it worked, they would become humanity's first line of defense. Begin the sync, Sarah ordered, watching as the first test subject was connected to the quantum interface. Captain Maya Rodriguez, one of Earth's most decorated fighter pilots, lay perfectly still as the neural linkages activated. Her consciousness was about to become something more than human. The quantum core pulsed, its light intensifying as Maya's mind merged with the network. On the monitoring stations, her neural patterns exploded into complex fractals of activity. She wasn't just interfacing with the quantum computer, she was becoming one with it. Neural expansion holding stable, Amara reported, excitement creeping into her professional tone. Consciousness integration at 100%. She's in. Maya's voice echoed through the command center, but it wasn't coming from her physical form. It emanated from the quantum network itself. The acceleration, it's incredible. I can think faster, process more. I can see everything. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The Drachnids had given them 24 hours, expecting submission. Instead, humanity was transcending its own limitations. The quantum network wasn't just a weapon, it was the next step in human evolution. Begin integration for the remaining pilots, she ordered, and activate the mass fabrication facilities. Maya, are you ready to test the combat simulations? More than ready, Maya's consciousness replied through the network. The Drachnids won't know what hit them. In facilities across the globe, more pilots entered the quantum sync chambers. The massive fabrication plants, hidden in underground complexes, powered up their systems. They would only have one chance to surprise the alien fleet, and everything had to be perfect. 5 hours until we reach critical mass, Marcus reported. All facilities report green status on production. Sarah studied the global readiness displays. The quantum network was growing stronger by the minute, each connected consciousness adding to its processing power. The Drachnids thought they were dealing with a primitive species that barely understood quantum mechanics. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't its technology. It was its ability to adapt and evolve. Send word to all facilities, she commanded. Operation Blindside begins in 6 hours. The Drachnids wanted our quantum technology. She gazed up at the pulsing quantum core, its light reflecting in her determined eyes. Let's show them exactly what we can do with it. 2 hours before the Drachnid deadline, the quantum network reached full capacity. 300 pilots, their consciousness merged with the quantum core, existed in a state beyond normal human perception. In the command center, Dr. Sarah Chen watched as the final pieces of humanity's response fell into place. All fabrication facilities report completion, Marcus announced, his fingers dancing across holographic controls. Quantum fighters are ready for deployment. The vessels they had created were unlike anything in human or Drachnid military doctrine. Rather than traditional spacecraft, they were quantum state projections, physical manifestations of consciousness given form through advanced technology. Each fighter was an extension of its pilot's enhanced mind, capable of maneuvers that would destroy any conventional craft. Maya, status of the combat network. Sarah called out to their lead pilot. Maya's response came through the quantum field, her consciousness resonating with newfound power. All pilots are synchronized. The neural combat algorithms we developed in simulation are holding stable. We're ready. Above them, the Drachnid fleet maintained its threatening position, unaware of what was about to happen. Their sensors, advanced as they were, couldn't detect the quantum buildup happening beneath Earth's surface. They were still waiting for humanity's surrender. Begin Phase 1, Sarah ordered, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. Let's show them what humanity is capable of. The quantum cores pulsed with blinding intensity as the operation began. Across the globe, massive hangar doors opened in hidden mountain facilities and desert complexes, but no conventional aircraft emerged. Instead, the sky itself seemed to twist and ripple as hundreds of quantum fighters materialized simultaneously. The vessels were beautiful and terrifying, translucent shapes of crystalline energy that defied conventional physics. Each one was piloted by a consciousness operating at quantum speeds, able to process information and react thousands of times faster than any organic brain. All units, execute jump sequence, Maya commanded through the network. The quantum fighters accelerated, not through conventional propulsion, but by manipulating the fabric of space-time itself. In an instant, they vanished from Earth's atmosphere. They reappeared in the midst of the Drachnid fleet, emerging from quantum space at points calculated to cause maximum chaos. The alien vessels, massive and powerful as they were, had no defense against an attack they couldn't comprehend. Multiple direct hits confirmed, Marcus reported as the quantum fighters engage. Drachnid shields are ineffective against quantum state weapons. The battle that unfolded was unlike anything in human military history. The quantum fighters moved with impossible grace, phasing through solid matter at will, their weapons striking directly at the quantum structure of Drachnid technology. Ships that had seemed invincible began to fall, their advanced systems unable to cope with attacks that violated the very laws of physics they understood. High Commander Vrax is attempting to broadcast, Amara announced. They're trying to understand what's happening. Let them wonder, Sarah replied, watching as humanity's quantum warriors decimated the alien fleet. They thought we were primitives playing with technology we didn't understand. They never considered that we might understand it better than they do. The Drachnid capital ships attempted to return fire, but their energy weapons passed harmlessly through the quantum fighters. The human vessels existed in multiple states simultaneously, making conventional attacks useless. It was more than just advanced technology. It was the next evolution of warfare. Enemy fleet is attempting to regroup, Maya reported through the network. They're trying to establish a defensive formation. But it was too late. The quantum fighters had already adapted to every Drachnid tactic, their pilots' enhanced consciousness anticipating moves before they happened. What had seemed like an overwhelming alien force was being systematically dismantled by weapons and warriors that defied conventional reality. Their flagship is attempting an emergency FTL jump, Marcus called out. Should we pursue? Sarah studied the tactical display, watching as the massive Drachnid command ship prepared to flee. No, let them go. Let them take word back to their empire about what happened here. Let them understand exactly what they awakened on Earth. The remaining Drachnid vessels, those that could still function, began emergency jumps to faster than light speed. In less than an hour, humanity had gone from facing extinction to achieving a victory that would reshape galactic politics forever. But Sarah knew this was only the beginning. The Drachnids would return, and next time they would be better prepared. Humanity needed to be ready. The quantum network hummed with potential. its power growing as more minds joined the collective consciousness. They had taken the first step into a new era, and there was no going back. In the aftermath of humanity's first victory, Dr. Sarah Chen knew they had precious little time. The quantum network had expanded beyond their wildest expectations, now connecting over 1,000 enhanced minds. But as she studied the debris of fallen Drachnid ships, she discovered something that changed everything. "Look at this quantum signature," she told Dr. Wong, highlighting a peculiar pattern in the wreckage analysis. Their technology isn't just powered by quantum mechanics, it's built on a unified quantum field. Their entire civilization depends on it. The quantum cores beneath the Atacama Desert facility pulsed with new intensity as Maya's consciousness joined their discussion. "That's why they were so afraid of our research," her voice resonated through the network. "We weren't just developing competing technology. We were developing technology that could disrupt their entire way of life." The discovery sparked a flurry of activity across Earth's defense network. Teams of scientists, their minds enhanced by quantum integration, began analyzing every piece of Drachnid technology they could salvage. A pattern emerged that was both fascinating and terrifying. Their biology is quantum entangled with their technology, Dr. Amara Okafor reported, her holographic display showing complex molecular structures. "It's how they achieve their level of advancement, but it's also their greatest vulnerability." Sarah's mind raced with the implications. The Drachnids hadn't just built an empire on quantum technology. They had evolved to become dependent on it. Their bodies, their ships, their weapons, even their FTL drives all operated on the same quantum frequency. "They're coming back," Marcus announced, his monitoring station showing disturbances in space-time. Multiple fleet signatures detected. They're gathering forces from across their empire. The quantum network lit up with activity as humanity's enhanced pilots processed the incoming data. The Drachnid response force was massive. Thousands of ships, including vessels that dwarfed even their previous capital ships. "They're not taking any chances this time," Maya observed through the network. "They mean to obliterate us completely." But Sarah was already formulating a plan. If their entire civilization operates on a unified quantum field, then we don't need to defeat their ships individually. We just need to disrupt that field itself. The concept was audacious, creating a quantum cascade that would ripple through the very fabric of Drachnid society. It wasn't just a military strategy. It was an attack on the fundamental nature of their existence. "Begin protocol kills," Sarah ordered. "All quantum cores, redirect power to field manipulation." Maya prepared the pilots for phase shift operations. The underground facilities hummed with unprecedented energy as humanity's quantum network reconfigured itself. The enhanced pilots, their consciousness operating at quantum speeds, began calibrating their fighters for the most ambitious attack in human history. "Drachnid fleet will enter the system in 6 hours, Marcus reported. "They're moving slower this time, more cautiously." Sarah nodded grimly. "They think they learned from their last defeat. They have no idea what's coming." The quantum fighters underwent rapid modifications, their very nature changing to accommodate the new strategy. They weren't just weapons anymore. They were about to become the delivery system for a quantum virus that would unravel the very foundation of Drachnid power. "All pilots, synchronize your quantum signatures," Maya commanded through the network. "We're not just fighting their ships this time. We're fighting their entire quantum reality." The preparations continued as the deadline approached. Earth's defenders weren't just preparing for a battle. They were preparing to rewrite the rules of warfare itself. The Drachnids had evolved to become one with quantum mechanics, never imagining that this unity would become their greatest weakness. "Final calibrations complete," Amara announced. "The quantum cascade virus is ready for deployment." Sarah studied the tactical displays, watching as the massive Drachnid fleet approached. They thought they were coming to exact revenge. Instead, they were flying straight into humanity's trap, a trap that would exploit the very foundation of their civilization. "Remember," she addressed the assembled team, "we're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We're fighting for humanity's right to determine its own evolution. The Drachnids tried to stop us from developing quantum technology because they knew this day might come. They knew that eventually we might surpass them. The quantum network pulsed with determination as humanity prepared to prove them right. The Drachnid armada emerged from faster-than-light travel in a display of overwhelming force. 5,000 ships, their quantum drives pulsing with power, filled the space between Mars and Earth. At their center, a vessel larger than any yet seen carried High Commander Vrax himself, come to witness humanity's extinction. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the heart of the quantum network, her consciousness partially merged with the system that humanity had built. Around her, the enhanced pilots waited in perfect synchronization, their quantum fighters ready to execute humanity's boldest gambit. "They're broadcasting," Marcus announced, his voice tight with tension. The message filled every communication channel, delivered in the same harmonic tones as before. "Humans," Vrax's voice resonated with cold fury. "Your resistance has only delayed the inevitable. Surrender now, and we will make your extinction swift." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Maya, initiate protocol kills." The quantum fighters launched simultaneously, but this time they didn't attack. Instead, they formed a complex geometric pattern around Earth, their quantum signatures beginning to pulse in a carefully calculated rhythm. The Drachnid fleet, expecting another direct assault, hesitated. "Phase 1 complete," Maya reported through the network. "Quantum resonance field is stable. Beginning cascade sequence." The space between the quantum fighters began to shimmer with impossible colors as they manipulated the very fabric of reality. The Drachnid ships opened fire, their energy weapons lancing through space, but the attack had already begun at a level they couldn't comprehend. "Their quantum field is responding," Amara called out, monitoring the cascade effect. "The virus is spreading through their network." The first signs of the attack appeared subtle, slight fluctuations in Drachnid shield harmonics, minor power disruptions, but like a wave-gathering force, the quantum cascade grew exponentially. Ship after ship began experiencing system failures as their quantum-based technology turned against them. What is this?" Vrax's voice crackled through the communications, losing its harmonic quality. "What have you done?" "We've evolved," Sarah responded, broadcasting on all frequencies, just not in the way you feared. "You thought quantum technology was your advantage, your birthright. But you forgot something crucial about humanity. We don't just adapt to technology. We transform it." The cascade reached critical mass. Across the Drachnid fleet, quantum fields collapsed as the virus rewrote the very foundations of their technology. Ships began to drift, their crews suddenly disconnected from the quantum network that had been as natural to them as breathing. "Their flagship is attempting to stabilize," Marcus reported. "They're trying to isolate their systems." But it was too late. The quantum virus had already spread too far, transmitted through the very quantum entanglement that made Drachnid civilization possible. Their mighty armada, built on millennia of quantum evolution, was being undone by a species they had dismissed as primitive. "Hold position," Sarah ordered as some pilots moved to attack the defenseless ships. "This isn't about destruction. This is about sending a message." She opened a channel to Vrax's vessel, which now floated powerless among its crippled fleet. "You came to our world believing you could control humanity's development. You thought you could decide our fate, but you made a fundamental error in judgment. You assumed that because your civilization evolved to depend on quantum technology, everyone else would follow the same path." The quantum fighters maintained their formation, the cascade effect now rippling out through subspace, carrying the virus to every corner of Drachnid space. Reports began flowing in through the quantum network. Drachnid colonies going dark, their technology failing as the cascade spread. "You can rebuild," Sarah continued, her voice firm, but not cruel. "But you'll have to do it differently this time. The quantum frequency your civilization depended on has been permanently altered. You'll need to find a new path forward, one that doesn't rely on controlling others." In the days that followed, as the Drachnid fleet retreated on conventional drives, humanity began to understand the full scope of what they had achieved. They hadn't just defended Earth, they had fundamentally changed the balance of power in the galaxy. The quantum network continued to grow, but now it evolved in new directions. Humanity had learned from the Drachnid's mistake. They wouldn't become dependent on any single technology. Instead, they would continue to adapt, to innovate, to transform. "We're receiving signals," Marcus reported a week later. "Other civilizations, watching what happened. They want to talk." Sarah nodded, looking out at the stars through the facility's observation dome. Humanity had proven itself on the galactic stage, not through conquest or dominance, but by showing there was always another way forward. The universe was vast, and humanity's journey was just beginning. "Open a channel," she said. "Let's show them what humanity can really do when we're free to chart our own course among the stars."